Okay.
She likes her space.
I do. I like to spread out. Are you ready? Are we ready? Okay. Okay, it is July 22nd, 2025 at 5:01 p.m. We're at the Black Canyon City Community Library for the regular BCCWID board meeting. Meeting notice was posted at the post office, on the bulletin board outside the office, and on the website. We'll start with introductions and Lisa? Introduction.
Lisa Chandler, office manager, Black Canyon City Water. Until tomorrow. Or Friday.
Lillian O'Reilly, treasurer.
Sean Collins, member at large.
And this is Sean's first meeting here, so woo!
Hey, welcome, Sean.
And Elaine Clayton, board chair.
Tom Strezak, board secretary.
Jerry Postma. Tomas Montoya, legal counsel for the district.
And is it Ken? Or
Yeah, Kenny. Yeah.
With, introduce yourself.
Kenny Porter, KP Ventures, Drilling and Fire.
Oh, thank you.
It's just for the recording.
Okay. Yeah.
Cindy Melandro, user.
Bob Hannes, field operations.
And Natalie Gogano, municipal accounts, bookkeeping and consulting.
Okay, perfect. We have the consent agenda, and my understanding is that the meeting minutes from June 16th and 24th are posted on the website as unofficial.
Yes, the ones that you have here for approval, consent agenda, yes.
Okay, so I would
Draft.
entertain a motion to approve the minutes as indicated on the consent agenda.
Any
Pardon?
discussion?
I'm sorry,
Any discussion?
who moved? I missed it. Who made the motion? You made the motion?
Motion.
And any discussion?
Yeah, I find that they're it's not interpreted quite right as to what really occurred at the meetings.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on what we should do?
Things need to be corrected. So I'm just, I'm not a yes on that, that's all.
Okay, Tomas, do we still have to go ahead and vote on it, and if people, or should we just table it?
So if you'd like to discuss, you can entertain a motion to remove it from consent agenda and have it discussed, or you can table it as an agenda item for a future meeting. It's at your discretion.
Okay, so I think we should table it for another meeting so that we all have a chance to review those meeting minutes, and perhaps we'll refer back to the meeting video.
On both.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a lot, it's just, but there are some things that are definitely needing correction.
So, number 4, chairs.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Madam Chair. So is that, I need a motion to,
So sorry. To
Table
table
to
it?
it.
Oh, I
Correct.
thought if you tabled it, you didn't have to. My boo. Would you like any?
Have to make a motion to table it?
Yes.
I'll motion to table it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Passes unanimously. We'll table it until another meeting. So now we can go to 4A, Chair's Report. Update on transition to the new office. And this is actually, Tomas, can I digress and let KP Ventures speak, since he's here and he could leave and he doesn't need to stay, or should I continue with the board's chair report?
As the chair, you are allowed to reorder the agenda at your discretion.
Okay, so,
But let the record reflect how you are going to reorder that agenda.
perfect. Let the record reflect that we are going to convene and we are going to address item 5H, discussion and possible action regarding consideration of possible actions recommended by Kenny Porter with KP Ventures regarding Big John well, Big John number 3 well. So Kenny, you can sit there, you can pull a chair up here and
Okay. I was just mainly I came to answer any questions that you guys have had about the well.
So, Madam Chair, you'd requested that I reach out to KP Venture, and I was fortunate enough to speak with Kenny, and he was traveling, so he didn't have an opportunity to look through the plans and all the information that we wanted to talk about. But he did have some suggestions or items that we could take a look at, because right now, as it sits, Big John well number 3 is only producing 6 gallons per minute. And because of the low flows, maybe there's some other options that we could look at to see if we can increase the production. So if you don't mind kind of going over the things we talked about, Kenny?
Okay. First, I'd like to recommend that a video be run of the well, that we run a video downhole to make sure that the perforations that we added from 60 feet to 30 feet are open all the way. That would be the first thing, and when we're doing that, we can kind of look through the perfs hopefully and see back inside to see what's back there. And we would hope that that the formation would have hopefully caved in some. One of the things we would be looking at to see in there. And then after that, I would recommend some kind of development, which we didn't do with the rig, because those perfs were done after the rig was there, right? So we did do a little development, what we could, with the test pump in there, but we would need hopefully to do something, that's going to get the energy back in there, to get the wall, the mud on the wall that's behind the casing. So the casing's right here, and then the mud is right here. So we went in and perforated the casing, but nothing was done to get rid of this mud cake that's on the wall that's down through there. And that mud cake, between 28 and 33 feet, we had what they call lost circulation with mud drilling. And I believe 30 feet is the water table too. And that lost circulation, it takes the mud for a while. So you constantly put mud in, and I'm simplifying it, that's much more difficult than it sounds, but you put more mud in, and that mud goes back out there and it seals off whatever is causing that lost circulation zone. So it'd be good to get that mud out of there.
Just a real quick question, Kenny. When you talk about development, is that surging the well with water being forced down inside of it? Could you explain that a little, please?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of I was thinking about after our conversation. It's a little bit hard to do on this well. And putting fresh water down the well would be certainly one way to do it. We can put water down there. See, normally we'd have, let's say, 1,000-foot well, and the static water level would be 300 feet, and the screen would be 500 feet. So we'd be able to develop that out because we'd have such a waterhead above it. Well, here we just have 30 feet, and it's the static, and that's where the screen's out. And most likely, looking at the other well, we can kind of tell that the water is probably coming in between 30 and 40 feet. So it's really going to be hard to get enough energy to go back into the formation to get that mud out. So putting water down there, pumping it out. We have one way to do it is we could stick a pump down in there with swabs on the bottom, the pumps in the middle of the swabs, and we could lift that pump up and down rapidly, about 36 times a minute roughly, if we do it with cable tool method, and it would cause that water to be forced back in there and then pumped back out while we're surging it up and down 32 times a minute. So, and that's one way we could do it. The other way we could do it would just be to run a swab in there on a pump truck, much slower, but still pretty effective. And maybe try some chemicals, although we could try chemicals with the other way, but put chemicals in there, Aqua Clear, which is a PDF for dissolving mud and stuff. And then, what was the other way we talked about? Jet West, I've used them before. And they have an interesting way to perforate the well. It's called gas perfing, but it's pretty destructive, and I've only done that on deeper applications, and I don't know what kind of effect it would have on the well. How far is that other well away
It's
from
probably
you?
about 30 feet away.
About 30 feet away.
Mhm.
So the other well's 30 feet away. This well here is, and when they go in and gas perf, it shoots out as much as 50 feet into the formation. Okay, so I don't know, and I don't know what kind of damage that would have on the other well.
Is that into the fissures that we're getting the water from?
Hopefully.
I mean, is that okay? And can it be done directionally? Can the perfs that face the existing well, can those be blocked off somehow so that it's more directional?
You can make it directional. It's 50 feet no matter what. So
So
you can, I believe you can go in and shoot. Well, let's see, how do they do that? I believe you could shoot, say, north to south, east to west. You get 2 shots, I believe.
Okay, 'cause
Your question is if they could just put all the energy towards the other well.
away from the existing well.
Oh, away from the existing well.
Right, because you're trying to open up fissures that are away from the existing well.
Yeah, and that's possible. But you want to be careful there because there might not be any other fissures that are, you know what I'm saying? So the one well, let's see, is it east and west of each other?
Northwest or south.
Okay. So you drilled the well here and you drilled the well here. There might not be any water over there or something. But I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm just saying we know for sure there's water in the well.
The existing or what? You know, do we know like where the fissures are on the existing well? Is there any kind of a drilling report on that, or
No, you don't have any way to know
wouldn't
that.
have any way to know
No.
where the water's coming in? But basically, this being all basalt, it's mainly
Well, it
like
was,
hard rock.
I say it was volcanic more than basalt. Basalt is just a hard rock and it's solid.
Right.
It was volcanic material.
Oh, because the engineer, the drilling technician said it's a lot of basalt. And
Yeah.
He said it's the hardest basalt I ever seen. He had a baggie with
Yeah.
a bunch of it because it was so special to him, and he's been doing it for like 40 years.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy, TC.
Yeah, TC.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, but and that's another thing. So, you know, we usually do these. They're a lot deeper. So by this time, say we would get, 30 to 60,000 pounds on the bit. And here, because it was so shallow, we had maybe, 2,000 pounds on the bit, or 3,000 pounds on the bit.
yeah, it was real slow.
Right.
Real slow.
And that's part of why it was so slow.
Right. So it's my understanding, mostly it was a lot of hard, basalt or like rock. I mean,
Yeah.
basalt is like rock.
That was down further up top. It was more bouldery and stuff like that.
But that's not where we're really getting the water from, though, right?
Well, I think it is.
It's,
Where we lost circulation.
between 30 and 40 feet, I think you mentioned. Is
Yeah.
Where it's,
Yeah, I think it was 28 to 33 feet where we lost circulation.
What is the risk of doing something that would reduce the production on the existing well, the one that is actually producing? And
Sure.
what criteria are you basing using these methods on? Is it why did you choose these specific options?
It's just what's worked best over the years.
So best practice.
Yeah.
What's the danger? What's the hazard of impact of it impacting the other well? We can't afford to lose that one.
Yeah. I wouldn't say any danger except on the second method or the third method, and that's gas perfing the wells.
That's last. We're not gonna do that until we try the other ones, right?
That's what I would recommend. Yeah, I'd recommend one, we go in, video the well, take a look, see what we got.
Of course.
It might be as simple as, hey, we didn't get the perfs in. The perfs might not go through there, and then we'll come out and we'll perf it again until it perfs.
But and that's something the district is going to pay for, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically you would. In this case, if we didn't get the perfs in, if there's no perfs there, I would say we would perf it again for you on our own back. Yeah, but that's highly unlikely. It's possible, but it's highly unlikely. But a video would show that.
And on the WIF alone, can anyone say where we are as far as how much we have left? Because now we have another $67,000 or $70,000 that needs to be paid in the upcoming invoices. So how much is actually left on the WIF alone to pay for all of these additional costs?
We have 191,938
Left?
after the first reimbursement that we requested last week. So there might be some invoices that you guys have incurred over
There's
the last month or so.
90,000.
All right, so we've got about 100,000 left on.
So that's all we have to spend. So somehow you need to make sure that it comes somewhere within that budget.
Yeah, a well
Sorry,
video is it's $1,000 to video it. So
Can I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
How about if you let myself and Bob work with KP Venture
No problem.
to get some prices on each of these options, and then do a little bit more talking and kind of make a recommendation to the board.
Perfect. We just need to make sure that we're not going over what we have in the WIFA budget.
Well,
And
and I would say if they're gonna charge over $100,000 to clean a well that they drilled for 190,
Well,
we need to look at somebody else.
I'm in healthcare. Anything is possible, righty?
But that $100,000 also covers the pump, the controls, the freak drive, finish the plumbing.
That's not the point. The point is we are running over what we expected to
Oh, I understand
to
that.
spend.
Right, but it's not just we have $100,000 left to get the well developed. That is also to finish the rest of the well.
Which is
That's,
finishing the well.
yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's just we set on a certain amount and we have to stay within
Right.
within that budget, and we're going over what was expected. So we just need to be
Yeah,
careful
and
with it.
I mean, I would say, yeah, and it's a little bit off the cuff, but I would say, 20,000 of that would be more than adequate to do what we needed to do.
Okay. No, and
It's not healthcare.
Tomas, I'm sorry. What?
It's not healthcare.
As expensive as that.
This is science.
It's not 500 for the doctor and then 2,000 for the hospital stay.
But is that just,
I have a twisted sense of finance being in healthcare.
Right about the ambulance ride.
Yeah.
So Tomas, we don't need to vote on the three of them working together, do we? It's Bob, he's project manager, he's the district manager, and he's KP Ventures, so they're all working together anyhow.
You're correct. If you'd like to, put some direction in the record, you can make a motion for that effect. But
Okay,
if they are already working together, then
so you think we should make a motion in?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can we make a motion that we can spend X amount of money based on our recommendations so that we don't have to wait another month to come back?
We're gonna make a not to exceed amount.
Yeah.
So what would a reasonable not to exceed amount be?
Well, it just depends on what we find out and what the options are. So if they do the perforations and those are bad, we have to re-perforate them. Now we have to still look at going the pumping and see what kind of production we get. Then if there's still an issue with the pumping, then we may want to take a look at the development. So one is stacked on another.
So why don't we just put not to exceed the available monies in the budget? Would that suffice?
I would recommend that it be a certain dollar amount, a very
Well,
specific
then
dollar amount.
recommend a dollar amount, Jerry.
Let's go with the 20. That's Kenny thought he could get the work done with the $20,000.
And that means in healthcare we should double it.
Okay, then that's
Huh?
fine.
20,000 sounds good.
Yeah.
That's
could I ask you?
We can't use that money for other
I mean,
things.
in
What kind of-
within the
What
project.
kind of hope is there in this?
That would
I
be
mean,
the.
it's a gamble.
What we-
There's a lot.
Been a
Yeah,
gamble
yeah.
from the beginning.
If the water's
We
there,
can't
it's
do
Madam
anything
Chair,
else.
we do have a few conversations going
Oh,
on
so
here.
sorry,
What kind
so
of-
sorry.
Just trying to keep the
Out of
record a
line.
little
Thank
bit
you.
clear.
Correct.
Hope for.
Tom,
sorry.
Yeah, I just had a question.
okay, I know, but we need to stop and do it according to protocol or
Yeah.
professional. So where were we, Tomas, when you stopped?
It seems like the board was getting ready to entertain a motion with a not to exceed amount, an amount to be determined. Seems like that's up to the board.
Okay, so Bob, you think 20,000 is good?
Yeah.
Jerry? No, it's not good? What would you think?
I would recommend 40,000.
Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion to for Kenny, Bob, and Jerry to collaborate and work on resolving the issues with Big John 3 well in an amount not to exceed $40,000. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? Or I wait for the second for that, right? Sorry. Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Tom?
Aye.
Okay, 4 ayes, passes unanimously, so you guys have a budget of $40,000 to work with.
Now,
Up
can I
to-
ask him, or
Pardon?
can you kind of explain to us, like, what kind of hope that we can have?
Not right now.
We
We have a lot of other things on the agenda that we need to get to, and we
Maybe
can
off the record.
have to discuss this at another time. It's already been 30 minutes, so thank you so much for coming and talking to us about what our options are. And we look forward to hopefully seeing a positive outcome
problem.
come from this.
I was going to leave them that way if anybody's got any questions they can ask. Feel free to call me.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Kenny.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks, Kenny.
Okay, so now we're going to return to Chair's report, update on transition to the new office location. So there's a lot going on with that. I'm going to try and get through it quickly because we have a lot of other things to discuss tonight. So we are not going to be moved by the end of, we're not going to move in by the end of the month. There is absolutely no way. I am not going to create more chaos and havoc in the lives of those people that are just trying to get through the day-to-day office operations. There are some things we need to do before we even think about getting a truck to come and load everything up. NAIT is coming on Tuesday. He needs to look and see what needs to happen for us to hook up our computers. And he also has offers security services. And then that will be on Tuesday, next Tuesday. Then next Wednesday, ADT is going to come. And ADT is very confusing, but they're going to, my understanding is they can remove what's in the current office and move it to the new one. But we'll have to see what they say when someone actually comes out. And then Sean got a quote from Simply Safe. And Sean, and I did find the keys. Sean, we met at the office today to kind of look because he's going to help. He's going to be there when NAIT and ADT comes so that he can offer his input on where cameras should be located, etc. Then we have files. So Lisa, with the Arizona Rural Water, we started going through files last week, and we are not going to move file cabinets full of paperwork that we don't even know what's in there. Why take a mess and then create another mess? We need to go through the files and see what needs to be digitized and what we need to keep and what we can shred. And if anybody wants to come and help, I think I sent an email. They're welcome to. I'm waiting to get a confirmation back from Lisa with Rural Water. I thought we had agreed that she was going to be coming tomorrow. And then we have some minor renovations that need to be done. It needs a new toilet. One of the primary things we had talked about was making sure that we had a wall so that we could have private meetings, because anybody, and Lisa can attest to this, anybody who comes into the office and we try to have a meeting or try to talk to vendors or other people, it's like 5 conversations at once. It's chaotic. It's not professional. We are a professional business and we need to present ourselves as such. And a sink, I personally, if somebody were to be working, when people are working in the office, and we're not talking restroom customers, but people coming in, our visitors, if they use the restroom and they don't have a place to wash their hands, that's just...
There's a public restroom.
This isn't a time for comments. We don't want whoever's working in the office to have to lock the office up and then go around the corner to go to the bathroom and wash their hands. It's just, we need a decent toilet, a sink so people can wash their hands, and a wall so that we can have private meetings. And these things are key. These things are what we talked about before we even started looking for a new office. Not the toilet and the sink necessarily, but a wall and having the ability to hold private meetings. And if you think that's not important, then I suggest you go to the office and spend some time there and see what it's like when you have vendors and visitors and other people coming in, and you can't have a private conversation. It's unprofessional. It looks unprofessional. It just is unprofessional, and I don't think that's a good representation of the district. So we need to get some of the smaller things in line before we take the big step to move, and the building owner has agreed. We are just going to pay the rent. The lease is staying in Lisa's name. We'll just pay it at the first of the month. It's only for hopefully 4 weeks until we can get things together. And right now we have a lot going on in the district, and we don't even have a contract with Julie yet, or anybody to come into the office to take payments. And trying to get a new person to move to a new office with all the chaos of taking files and stuff would just be too overwhelming. And people involved in this, Lisa and others, have emphasized that these are the right steps to take before we move. So that's it on that. Transition, we're on Chair's report, update on the transition of financial oversight to Natalie. I'm so excited. That is so very cool. She's going to balance the checkbooks. We're going to send her the invoices. She's going to pay the bills. We won't have to worry about that, which is great. The office person will be taking payments, putting in meter reads, generating payments, generating the pink slips, and those types of tasks. But otherwise, Natalie will have full responsibility for the other stuff. And it came to my attention that Natalie could be put on the Yavapai County account as a signer, meaning Natalie could sign and one board member. I need to get Sean put on so that he can sign. So that's something that we need to think about. Would we want Natalie to be a signer so that it would ease getting checks signed where she could sign and one board member? Think about that.
Can I clarify on that real quick? Yes. So if I'm a signer on the county, we discussed I wouldn't be signing the checks because the checks would be printed here and you guys would still need to sign. However, that would let me communicate with the county to get balances, do transfer between accounts, and kind of speak to the county on the district's behalf. So
okay.
I could be a check signer in an emergency situation, but I would still picture you guys doing most of the signing since the checks would be here physically.
Okay. Perfect.
She had
Thank you for that
discussed that with
clarification.
Julie. You were going to send them in. She's going to send them to you, and then you're going to send her a PDF to.
I'm gonna, sorry,
Yeah,
I wanted to
this is
stop
a
you. This is not a time for
discussion.
discussion. This is just a report, so.
Yeah, thank you. So 23-24 audit, we held off on that until we kind of got our feet on the ground with Natalie and other district matters. And so we went ahead and have requested that the 23-24 audit be started. And update on the WIPO reimbursement. This is not an item for discussion, but at present I have no idea where the reimbursement matter stands. I know that on May 25th, the WIPO reimbursement documents were sent. It was awaiting an engineer's signature and stamp, and here we are at July 22nd. I know that we have the engineer's approval or signature and stamp, but we also needed some payroll information from NACOG, and Jerry can send an email and discuss exactly where we are on the WIFA loan, but it has taken far too long to get this reimbursement, and we've got $220,000 on this one outstanding, and then we have another about 80 or 90 to process. So this was not a very good, it was not a well-organized event. So next is B, operations report activities for last month, and that's Bob.
Okay, well depths, the current measurements, we're sitting at Big John 1. Water level is 33.5 inches. The drawdown is 38 inches, or 38 feet 1 inch. Oasis well number 1, we're sitting at 35.7 for the water level, and the drawdown is 36.1. Oasis 2 is offline due to recovery issues. We're still having issues with that well. GOA 2, the drawdown is sitting at 42 feet 11 inches. GOA 3, the static water level is 33.8, and the drawdown is 38.4. So as you can see, we continue to decline with the water level. Our monthly water usage was 4,813,000 gallons for the month of July. Progress status overview. For June and July, we have replaced the backwash valves at the Big John, or the Big John Oasis, the Big John arsenic system. So we can now manually backwash that. Before we were taking wrenches and trying to manipulate the valves, but we've now put in new valves, so that is now done, so we can manually backwash it. Schoolhouse Road electrical panel. The engineer's drawing is done. It's all been submitted to the county. It's been sitting on somebody's desk for a couple of weeks for county approval. Once they approve the permit, the work has already been done by Foster's, so all they need to do is, once we get the permit, call in the inspection, the next day the power will be back up.
Can I ask a question now, Thomas, or should I wait for him to finish?
You can't ask any questions. It's not set for discussion. You can direct that it be agendized for future matter.
No, I asked Bill. I sent Bill an email and specifically mentioned to him that I wanted to be able to discuss matters on the operation report.
Your agenda currently does not have it set for discussion.
Is it question discussion?
Yes.
Just a question.
A question is discussion, or it could be construed as a proposal. So if you'd like, you can direct that it be re-agendized for a future meeting. But you're...
No, I wanted, okay, we'll go ahead. Thank you.
Online work orders, we continue to transition. Been in there a couple of days playing around with it, trying to figure out how to get all the work orders entered. Need to figure out how to get the field staff up and going. Have some concerns with having them carry a laptop around in the truck to do work orders, but we're going to figure out how to work through all of that so we can get the work orders online. Emergency phone coverage. When the operations manager is gone, what I do is I set up my phone to have an emergency number. So if somebody calls me in an emergency, my phone has an emergency phone number where they can call to get assistance. And in this case, when I was gone a couple weeks ago, Joe was that contact person. And that's all I have.
Okay, Natalie. 5, new business, discussion and possible action regarding review and possible approval of financial reports presented by District CPA.
That's me. I've got copies of the report. Anyone need any?
I did make copies. I gave people copies.
All right. I know how riveting it is. All right. I'll be quick. So June 30th, this is pretty close to what your fiscal year-end numbers are going to look like, pending final cleanup before going to audit. Any invoices that trickle in, that will get accrued into the fiscal year. But this is pretty darn close to your June 30th numbers. First page there is your arsenic sinking account. No activity besides interest earned. Month-end balance, $129,398. The next page there is the BMO checking account activity. We have customer payments about $57,500 and your JW TechNet payment. Below that, we have some debit card purchases. I did get receipts from Elaine last week, so we'll get those all updated in the system to code out for year end. After that, we had the sales tax payment and some transfers, leaving month-end balance in BMO at $21,942. Next page there is your capital reserve account. We had the transfer from BMO a little over $9,300 and interest earned, leaving your capital reserve at $99,872. The next page here is the big boy, the warrant account. So we had a transfer from BMO, $32,636, and interest a little over $540. So deposits into the warrant account, $33,184. Below that, I will caveat this. These were the warrants printed and signed. They were not mailed out. So we have 1262 through 1286. All normal activity. You'll see 1269 there. KP Ventures progress report 63,000. That's kind of your big boy for the month. If checks had been released, it would have taken you guys to negative 77,000. I worked with Elaine and Lisa last week. We got the cash flow updated. We moved some money around, so you were temporarily a little negative with the county. We got that fixed. So we released some of the checks last week after moving money around, and we're still holding a couple. So that's part of, as I kind of transition to taking more stuff, we'll work on structuring the cash flow and managing that a little bit better until we get that pinch point done. Obviously, the WIFA refund will make a big difference in your guys' pinch point, but we'll kind of keep a close eye on that the next few months. And before this book gets closed out and goes to audit, we will obviously fix this so it does not look like you have negative 77,000 at year end, and reflect it as accurately as we could. Next page there is your security fund account at the county. No activity there, holding the $53,000 there for your security deposits. The next few pages is your actual versus budget comparison. Again, if you want something fun to read at night, you can look through this. This is pretty close to your year-end numbers. It'll give you kind of a good roadmap of where we're going next year. Starting next month, new fiscal year, this will start to have some budget numbers populated in here too, so you guys can kind of gauge against those a little bit better. Last page here is your account balances. This just summarizes all of the information on the prior pages in one page, so you can see total district funds. Across all accounts, we had $226,679. The WIFA reimbursement we're waiting on is $224,000, so that's almost half of the district's money is pending reimbursement right now, which is why we're feeling this pinch point on funds. Hopefully we'll get that in soon. I think I can slip in a little bit of an update. I think I saw Jerry send an email on Friday sending that to WIFA. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll get that $220,000 hopefully in the next few weeks. WIFA's usually pretty quick about that. But that's what I've got for June, unless you guys have questions.
So this shortage in the checking account, what caused that? What created that?
So part of it is obviously the payment of these large KP Venture and WIFA loans. You guys have spent $350,000 out of pocket waiting for WIFA to reimburse you. So you're just short on, you've used your reserves to front the WIFA money. The little bit of confusion this month, I think, is the transition between Lisa and I. Lisa had been doing kind of weekly or daily balance checks in BMO and QuickBooks, but as we're kind of taking that over, she wasn't seeing as much of like the daily regular activity and being able to control the checks to match deposits and transfers. So that's why the county dipped a little bit negative. Like I said, I think it was $3,000. So that was just a timing difference on the BMO deposits. But the negative 77,000, you're seeing that just because, I mean, the one check to KP Ventures was 63,000. So you guys are at the WIP. It's the well. I'm just waiting for the WIFA money to come back.
So when we're looking, so is it okay to sign those checks and release those checks now? The ones that have been, I signed some, but then when we decided, wait, let's just hold off, and so
so last week I came down, worked with Lisa in the office for a couple hours, got things kind of updated. We got the BMO balance updated and transferred over to the county. As soon as we get confirmation that the deposit into the county clears, you guys can release all of these checks except for $8,000 worth. So you can kind of choose which ones can hold, but we were still about 8,000 short. I can look again end of this week and see how much is BMO and do another deposit, but we're just waiting on the county's deposit confirmation.
It hasn't been sent in because I can't get signatures.
Okay, yeah, we
So-
definitely need to sign
Elaine
that
did
transfer.
sign it, but I need one of the other board members
Yeah.
to sign it in order for it to get transferred. And so we do the bill run, but there was some hold back to who was gonna
Yeah.
I
sign.
have to get
Yeah.
you on as a signer.
So, yeah, we need one of the county signer, or one of the BMO signers to sign the transfer from BMO to the county.
I'm
And
not a
then,
signer.
at that point, we're only $8,000 short.
Helena, are you open to doing that tomorrow?
As long as I know the money's there,
It's
Yeah.
there.
We have a financial report.
I'm happy with that, so
So are you open to doing that
I
tomorrow?
can sign the transfer tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that would be great. That's what, and then as soon as we get deposit confirmation from the county, you guys can get the checks released.
So I can send that, and then the only thing I did, other than the 3,000, which brings it to 8, is I paid ADOR yesterday. I did the monthly
Oh, okay,
taxes.
yep, perfect.
Okay, so I totally trust you to keep things in balance, and I know that things will be much smoother. One more question. Some board members are thinking that we absolutely cannot afford to spend a dime on anything for the new office. And so once we get this WIFA reimbursement, is the district in a position to spend $7,000 or $8,000 to make some minor renovations to the new office?
With the caveat of getting the WIFA money back, then I would say yes. Obviously, kind of hearing some of the concerns, if we think we are going to go over WIFA budget overall for the well. We do, with my draft budget we kind of put together, we have about $100,000 wiggle room in there. So that gives you some cushion for if the well goes over budget. But I mean, I think if you're looking at 5,000-ish, or I don't know what you're kind of looking at for the
About
office.
7 or 8.
Yes, you have that, but with the caveat of let's get past the WIFA reimbursement and get past this little bit of a pinch point. But if over the next month Bob and Jerry tell you the well's going to go over your WIFA money, then I should probably have a phone call with someone before we start. We're going to have to look a little closer if you guys are going to go over budget there. Because that $100,000, you've got wiggle room in there now, but that might eat up $100,000 real quick.
We need to not go over budget. We've spent enough on the well. We need to stay within budget. There's no reason to go over.
Yeah. But then otherwise, yes, you guys should have $7,000 to $8,000.
And then we had talked about putting money into an account specifically for this type of a thing, for doing office improvements or whatever, because it's important that we be able to maintain an office that has a professional environment and that doesn't look like the toilet came from some junkyard and a wall, so we can have meetings and, just some basic things.
Yeah, and I don't know if we necessarily need to open up a separate bank account. I can tag it in the QuickBooks, or putting it just, if you want to itemize it in the budget going forward in future years, like itemizing office maintenance and repairs, then you've got it earmarked. For that small of an amount, I don't know if it's worth opening a completely separate account, but
No.
we can track it. Yeah.
Okay.
So would this one be able to be used in that pinch?
The capital reserve, yes, you guys have been using that account in the pinch. So, but yes, hopefully if we get the WIFA money back, then we're not as pinched. So.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a vote to accept the financial report presented by Natalie for the month as indicated. Second motion. Anyone second the motion to accept Natalie's financial report?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. It passes unanimously, none opposed. And so now we can move on to item B, discussion and possible action regarding vote to go into executive session pursuant to ARS 38431.01A3 for legal advice and ARS 38431.01A4 to give directions to legal counsel regarding Bob Hannes' performance review and possible revisions to Bob Hannes' wet contract. I'd like to entertain a motion to go into an executive session. I move
Motion as it is.
to go into an executive session. I'll second the motion to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Tom?
Nay.
Okay, so, were you aye? Yes?
I'm a nay.
You're a nay? So we have 2 and 2.
Motion fails.
So how do we then address it?
You can entertain a new motion, or you're going to have to re-agendize for a new meeting. If there's a tie vote, the motion fails. You need a quorum of a vote. Majority of the quorum, I should say.
Can we ask for the reasons that they don't want to go? I asked for a discussion, and no one said anything.
Okay.
We can't do that?
Can this be done publicly?
That's up to the board.
So that's what we'd like to do.
We'd like to do it.
How do you want to
I'd like
discuss
do
his
it.
contract publicly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in. I have
But
nothing
that
against
that is up to the board.
Okay.
I will say, if you're trying to give legal advice, that may not be something you want to do in a public session.
Yeah, no. We, these are matters that are discussed in an executive session, not in the public. And historically, these are always discussed in an executive session.
Historically, these executive sessions waste about 20 minutes just
Well,
getting
then-
it started.
I'm sorry that you feel that it's a waste, but that is the best
Well, if
practice.
we can go straight to it.
Okay, but we have to get a vote to go straight to it. The meeting ends at 6:30. That's why we're trying to go through it. So we will spend we'll spend until 6:20 in the executive session. Is that reasonable?
I'm not good with it.
Now,
A
Melina,
half hour to talk about two things.
I'm not good with executive session.
pardon?
I'm not good with executive session on this.
So the consequence is, if we don't discuss Bob's contract, what are the repercussions of not doing that? Because this is his yearly contract review.
You have another item on the agenda to bring up the issue, but if you're trying to... This executive session item is particularly for legal advice and direction to me as your legal counsel. So you do have another item on your agenda in the public session to talk about Bob's contract, if you so desire. Or, again, you can also re-agendize for a future meeting. Those are your
I
options.
think legal advice is important when you're looking at a contract, matters that need to be dealt with on a contract. It's, these are very important decisions. And if the board makes a wrong decision and we are discussing things publicly that perhaps, Jerry, what are your thoughts?
Well, I know that there are opportunities in the agreement that say that there could be an increase, there could not be an increase, but there has to be an evaluation done. Along with that evaluation, there could be changes to the agreement. But then if we're going to get into what changes need to be made, then again, we need to seek legal counsel on if we can make those. And we can't do that in open forum.
Right, it puts us at a disadvantage.
So what happens is then the way this was set up, my understanding is that once we receive legal counsel, now we go back into session and make a determination what's going to happen next, and that would be the public part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Without the legalese. So I guess my other concern is, and cut me off if you need to, if that's going to be the direction the board's always going to go, that everything's going to be in public, there's going to be a lot of challenges, because once you start making purchases and property acquisition or selling or stuff like that, now everything will have to be public. And that creates a huge, huge issue.
I agree. Sean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, for me, I always, if a legal says we should probably seek their advice and go into executive, I don't understand the negative about it. So if you have a negative about it, then I can make an I can assess what the problem is. But expert, he's our legal expert, so why would we not heed his advice? Why would we go directly against it? What are we butting heads with this guy for?
Well, we talked about being transparent when we started this, and I think being in executive sessions to me, it's just not being
All boards have executive sessions. That is a common practice.
What's
Every
doing is
board does
it's
it.
be able to discuss something and still cover us as the board, and not put us in a risky or put us liable for something.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
So the executive session is for the board as a whole, collectively, to have an opportunity to hear legal advice or consult with legal counsel, give direction to legal counsel as a board. Now, individually, individually, you can reach out to legal counsel, but that's individually, that's not a board, and so there is no open meeting law concern there. And so the reason why the executive session exists is if you're here as a board and you can make a collective consultation with legal counsel, you can give advice to legal counsel, give direction to legal counsel together.
Right.
But you cannot take legal action in executive session, of course. That must be done in public session.
But are you saying that you cannot give us any counsel publicly?
I can, but that's up to the board's decision. Does the board want legal counsel in public? And as it relates to negotiations, maybe not. And confidentially, you're in executive session, you have confidential protection, which you would not have in public session.
I have to go with Tomas and Jerry, their experience, their knowledge of law, and these are areas that we are not experienced in. We are not experienced in law, nor are we experienced in addressing these matters. We are a new board. I think it would be wise if we heeded the advice of 40 years of experience and our legal counsel, and not just decide that we need to do things differently because we want to be transparent. We are being transparent.
We'll still be transparent because we'll go in there, get our thoughts together, come out here and explain to everybody what's going to go on transparently.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so this is with regards to Bob's contract. Then do we come back out again? Do we go back in again? We're going to do Julie's
Tomas.
situation.
You can vote to go into executive session on both items, and we can come out of executive session and address both items simultaneously.
All right, well, yeah.
Okay,
Good.
so I'm
Good.
going to entertain a motion that we go into an executive session to discuss Bob Hannes' contract and Julie and the office clerk contract. You make the
I
motion.
second.
Make the motion. Oh, go ahead.
I second. Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Passes unanimously, and let's go into executive session.
So you guys go quick, so we can hurry and get this done.
Well, Natalie, she might want to get home.
Oh, I'm staying here.
I mean, not that this isn't fun, driving
You're with
here
us.
to
Where do we go?
Oh, we have
into
to go
the
in another
room
room.
over
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? There's one public.
Oh,
Why-
wait.
why can't we-
It's still on.
Just turn off the thing.
Have a great
Let's
evening,
stay right
everyone. I'll
here.
see you next time.
See you, Natalie.
Thank you so much.
Drive safe.
Should we stay in here and ask Bob and
If
Lisa
there's
to
one
leave?
public,
I can leave.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll see you on.
and
Why
Bob,
should
Oh, yeah, I'm
five of
still-
us
we
go?
just trust you
Yeah.
guys.
So,
You
I'll see you on
know,
Monday.
Yep, see you Monday.
If we go to the other room, we
You
should
know.
pause that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Best
yeah,
practice
or-
suggests to
yes,
separate
yeah,
regular
the
session
video-
from executive, yes.
Yeah.
So should
it's
we
gonna
go into
be-
another room? Would that be better? Yes, it would be. So
Yes,
let's go.
Oh, you're
you should
going-
still
We won't
stop
even
the
fit in the
recording.
other room.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
the recording.
We won't even fit in the other room. I'm going to stop this recording
Okay.
now.
That one.
This recording as well. Both recordings. But yeah, and I mean, we won't even fit in the other room. So really,
We are resuming the regular session. It's a
small room.
Business. And Tomas, what is the next part of the agenda that we address regarding?
So, the board has just come out of executive session. The board now needs to explain as much as they want to divulge about the two executive session items. Generally, the Attorney General suggests come out of executive session and direct legal counsel to proceed as instructed in executive session. The items that we discussed in executive session are, of course, confidential, as we noted. And so the board needs to entertain a motion to that effect if it would like to do so.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion that we to move forward with the matter discussed and the attorneys and for the attorney to follow through making the desired changes, contractual changes or just the changes as discussed in the executive meeting.
Perfect.
Okay. You make the motion?
I make, go ahead, I make.
I was going to say, you may want to clarify which executive session item you're referring
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Okay, so, based on executive session 38-431.01A3 and ARS 38-431.01A4, I would like to entertain a motion that legal counsel pursue the items discussed in the executive session
Relating to which agenda item, Chair?
related to agenda item B under new business 5B.
Understood.
Okay. You make the,
I make the motion.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. And so the next step is then,
You have a second executive session item that the board had. We need to go to item 5C.
okay, so 5C, discussion of ARS 38-431.01A4. We need to discuss an hourly rate for the office clerk position. It might be Julie, we may have more than one person. So the contract would be a very simple contract where it would be fill in the blank for the name. I think we talked about that today. And the attorney and Tomas, well, the attorney and Tomas is an attorney, both attorneys agreed.
We have a whole team.
And so now we just need to discuss what we think a fair hourly rate would be.
Can we ask Lisa what she was paying her?
No. Well, no, Chair. I think, based on the information I gathered, pardon? What?
Do you even know what all she's gonna be doing?
Yes, I gave a list to Tomas and Bill today. She's doing the billing. She would prepare the bills, send out the bills, enter the water, the meter reads, do the pink slips, send out certified letters for all delinquent accounts, make sure that all of the invoices are noted correctly as they come in, make sure everything gets to Natalie, make sure correct ones get to Jerry, so that he can review operations invoices. I believe that was what you had asked for. And to help Natalie with some of the not major financial responsibilities, but it would also be working with QuickBooks and Enhanced, doing work orders, online work orders and tracking those. Lisa, can you think of some other things? So, and based on the description that I entered into several different search engines to get the average hourly rate for this type of position with skills, it was, $21 to $23 an hour.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Are we still discussing what my legal direction is as legal counsel for the executive session item? There was no motion entertained for that item. For 5C. For 5C.
He's asking you, do we want to go to an executive session for that second item? Is that what you're saying?
No, you already went to executive session.
Correct.
But you had no motion for giving legal direction to me under 5C, regarding 5C. For 5B, you did.
So we need to vote on taking
Oh, I see.
the legal steps for the office clerk contract. Is that correct?
Correct. For under 5C. We're kind of blurring the lines between item 5C and item 5F.
So do I need to entertain a motion that we vote?
That he does the contract for that as well.
Correct. I thought that was
So
clear.
we should have done
So
that,
sorry.
unfortunately.
Correct.
It's gotta be separate.
We
because
got
it's
ahead of
two
ourselves.
different-
Correct.
Okay.
This is correct.
So we need to make
But
another
do it.
motion.
Yeah, we can do that.
Correct. It seems like
Okay.
this is the motion.
So I would like to entertain a motion that we direct legal counsel to proceed with developing a contract for the new office clerk position, as discussed, and the responsibilities were discussed, and we can change those or add to them or take away as needed. Anyone like to make that motion on 5C?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that, or, did I make it? I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. What?
So now you may discuss under.
Now we
under
may
that,
discuss.
addi-
Please
additional
stop
agenda
it, you
items.
guys.
I
I'm looking at
apologize.
the clock and my heart's pounding.
Yeah,
So
it's a
let's
technicality,
decide, let's
right?
talk
It's a
about
technicality that you.
an hourly rate.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
put
I-
something out there.
22.
$20.
I wouldn't want to be in her seat right now or any time really. So, but
20 what?
22 it's right down the middle. Of what you said
21.
with the averages. There you go.
I say 20.
What?
I say 20.
yeah,
I don't, when I look at the data, 20 is inadequate.
this would be a treasure job in Black Canyon
It
City.
certainly would be.
If you live in
At
Black
20
Canyon
bucks
City,
an hour,
you don't have to commute to Anthem or you don't have to commute
Yeah.
to Phoenix.
they'd be
You-
more
this is
than
a
happy for a
big bonus
$20
to
job.
work in Black
I
Canyon.
don't think $20 an hour is a great wage for living in Black Canyon City. People oftentimes get paid so much less here because that's the mindset. We live in Black Canyon City. Some people think that it costs less to live here, and the only thing that's different here is more people live in poverty because people only pay. They don't pay enough for anybody to make a living on, and I think $20 an hour
So
is
let's-
actually
Let's be
insulting.
generous and say 21.
Okay, 21.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
yes.
if I may make a recommendation, the board doesn't have to settle on a particular number. It could set a range if it likes. The board has discretion here. And, the board can direct us as legal counsel to put whatever number you want in this contract.
Do we want to set an amount? Or
Oh, right, so
Well, a
depending on
range,
how
you wanna
much
make a range, but
experience
then
they
who-
have,
who
if they've
decides?
got a lot of
Who
experience,
can
maybe
decide on
22.
what the range, from the range, who can decide? Does it have to go into a meeting again? The chair? The
No,
chair?
that is life
Can I
on a
make-
board. It's a meeting.
Can I make a suggestion on this? So, we know the range we're talking about, right? So, every time I make a contract for somebody that works for me, I start them at a specific amount, 21, but if this person works for us for 5 years, the amount increases 3% that matches inflation, right? So you don't want them to be going down, and yeah, the $20 was good 3 years ago, but it's not now because it doesn't have the same
Sure.
weight of money.
So
So we could
do
put
we
something
want
like
to do
that,
a
like a
range
scale.
of 21 to 23? Based on experience? But we're now specifically, the agenda item here is specifically to look at what we want to pay the new office clerk right now.
I think
Do we
20
want to pay the new office clerk right now $21 an
Yeah.
hour with a review in 6 months and another review in 12 months?
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds good.
You review it
Sounds
periodically and increase it if
Yeah.
it warrants.
Okay, I would like to entertain a motion that we start the base hourly rate of the new office clerk position at $21 an hour with a review every 6 months for the first year to determine if a raise would be appropriate.
Right, if they're meeting or exceeding.
We got it, so anyone would like to second that motion?
Yes, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, none opposed.
Let's go.
I know, I'm doing the clock countdown.
Yeah, let's go.
So, good thing she's friends with Chase. So we are going to, we cannot do 5D because it was posted, Sunday does not count as a posting date, so we did not post, I did not post within 72 hours. So you guys can slap my hand. And
That's already cut, I don't want to do that.
so what is the last, that was 5D, Jerry.
Oh, okay.
So,
Hear that.
we're gonna do E, discussion and possible action regarding Bob Hannes's wet contract. And what are we going, could you give some legal advice on how we proceed with that? I don't know what to say.
Specifically, you're asking how the board is going to approach this item right now?
Correct.
Okay. The board can, this is the public session of the wet contract. The board has discretion to say whatever it wants. Of course, the things that were discussed in executive session are confidential. So I will remind the board of that duty. If there's something specific that you'd like to mention in the public record with regards to the wet contract, you may. With that.
Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I believe that E and G
Okay.
should be together
Okay,
because there's got to be a performance evaluation as part of the contract. Is that correct?
That's a great suggestion, and absolutely you can take both items together if you'd like.
okay, no,
just to
that's
make it
fine. So
reflected in
would you
the
like to go
record.
ahead and make some comments on that?
What, I am not sure what you want to talk about.
Well,
Madam Chair.
because I don't know how to approach this. I've never
Okay.
done this type of a,
Performance review.
So basically, Bob, what was discussed, that obviously can be shared with the public, is that in your agreement, it's got that on the, I think it's July 27th or wherever it is, that an evaluation must be done, or should be done.
Yeah, it says reviews, yep.
So what the board decided was that we should sit down and do the evaluation. We'd like to schedule that today to do the evaluation. And then the second part of it is that we also want to sit down as a follow-up to that evaluation and look at the contract itself. So there's a lot of things which may be gray or, do not benefit both or either party. And I think we should talk about those in a public setting and get those worked out.
Okay.
so you want to come up with a date today?
I'm fine.
I'm only available on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Next week I'm only available Monday and Friday.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, now, during that evaluation, how many people, who needs to be there, the whole board? No, just,
Well, it's up to the board, but I just want to be careful not to bring in any of the executive session items.
that's right.
But it is up to the board. You can schedule the date for the performance review and say who would be there if the board wants to do that. Of course, if it's the board, it has to be done in a meeting.
Posted meeting.
Oh, again.
Correct.
Got it.
So if you're directing somebody to accept reviews individually or do the review separately from the board, you may do that. But if the board is doing that, it must be done in a public meeting.
Jerry?
Chair, board members, may I suggest that myself as manager and whoever the board wants, I would assume it would be the chair, be requested to do the annual evaluation, and then come back as a board to discuss any changes for the contract.
Okay. Do we need to vote? And what is it exactly the vote should entail? That we are going to, what should it?
Okay. I just, Madam Chair, I think that the vote should be that the board chooses the chair and the manager to sit down with the field operations owner of WID, Bob Hines, for the annual evaluation for the contract on whatever date and time, and then come back with a recommendation for any contract changes.
Okay, again, I'm available on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's it. So, we can look at a date, maybe you can get back with me tomorrow. In the meantime,
Does a board member need to be there?
can the other board members attend, or should this?
Only if you want to have an open meeting.
If you want to have an open
So,
meeting.
no, but what I'm saying is, does one of us need to be there? Including the chair?
I would
Okay.
be as the board chair, so it'd be
That's
Jerry
that was
and
my
I.
question.
So,
Okay, so,
so to your point, Madam Chair, is that if you want to have it on those dates you're available, I'm available after 6 p.m.
on Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
on next week, Tuesday, and whatever day you're available. It would
Okay,
be
I'll have
after
to
6
look at
p.m.
my calendar when I get home to see what's on there. But in the meantime, I would like to make a motion that, Jerry,
The board appoints you, the chair.
yes, I would like to make a motion that Jerry Patima, I get it wrong. Postema, there we go. And the board chair, meet with Bob Hannes, owner of WET, for the annual review, next week with a date and time to be determined, and communicated. Can I get a second to that motion?
Is there one slight little thing we can do is, how Bob feels about this, or that, like, are you good with the meeting with them?
I don't mean to cut you off, Tom.
Yes.
Is there a second to the motion before we
Okay,
discuss?
then discuss, right, okay, yeah.
Can we get a second to that motion?
Alright, I'll second that.
Discussion?
Okay, and, so basically just, are you okay, to meet with them and?
Yeah, I'm open to
And like,
reviewing
so
the.
as far as like the contract, how do you feel where we are right now with your contract?
That's to be discussed in the meeting. That's not, that's why we're having the meeting, is to discuss the contract and how he feels about it, and,
Okay.
correct? Is
And
that correct, Jerry?
in the meantime,
The agenda item does allow for discussion on his contract currently if the board wants to take input from Bob.
Okay.
But you can also do that at that meeting. It's at the board's
I
discretion.
think the meeting would be more appropriate. So, all in favor?
I think Bob had a question.
Oh, so
I don't
sorry.
have a question, it's going to answer Tom, but
oh, well, please, I mean,
we'll let him know.
if you could.
No, you're good.
No, I'm happy to look at some revisions to the contract. Yeah, I think, with Jerry coming on, there are some things that just need to be ironed out. How does this all kind of mesh together? And so this is a good opportunity to discuss some of those items.
Thanks.
Okay, so all in favor of Jerry Bustima and the board chair meeting with Robert, or with Bob Hannes, owner of WET, to discuss the contract. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously, and Jerry and I will be in touch with Bob to confirm a date. Is that good? This has been confusing. All of this new stuff is just like, seriously, and I'm having to learn everything about the heart at the same time. My mind is just about ready to explode some days. Okay.
And mine you're gonna skip?
No, that's
Oh,
that's
no,
good.
Lisa, we need you to sign your separation agreement. We already
Which one?
voted on it.
Okay, which
Please
one?
show Tomas.
Okay, there's several of them that I don't know which one. We talked about it today, and she said, bring them all, and we'll discuss it. We'll
Okay.
discuss it when we get there.
Perfect. We can
Okay.
talk after the meeting.
Thank you.
But you're gonna have to go outside to do it.
All right.
And
You
that's
throw me
what-
out.
And that's what
The
has to be
library closes.
ratified.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely has to be done.
So it is,
That has to be ratified, correct?
I know that Cindy doesn't have any, questions to ask. We could go to Benny's for fries. That would be the only
The
question.
actions
So,
after this meeting will still need to be ratified, but
But it can be signed and carried forward.
once it's ratified.
Right. So it can't be signed yet until it's ratified.
Well, it can be, but proper procedures suggest you should probably ratify first.
We need to ratify it, then we can sign it.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're all good. And we can do that at a special meeting whenever we finish with some of the matters discussed here today. So it is 6:54, and we are going to adjourn the regular meeting. We don't have to vote on it,
6:50.
correct?
Correct. You don't have to vote to adjourn.
Praise God.
But there was a call to the public on the agenda. item
No,
if
and
the
I
board
said,
wanted to.
I know Cindy doesn't have any questions, and if she
Okay.
does, we'll go to
I
the
apologize.
fries, and it's all
I wasn't paying
good.
attention.
Alrighty? I mean, come on. This
Perfect.
is,
Perfect.
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you, everybody.
No problem.
and this is Lisa's last meeting. No, we already had a meeting, we already voted on it, it's all been accepted, all she has to do is sign.
Right, when is that happening?
It should be happening when they go outside, because the library
We'll
is
talk.
closing.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I just wanna make sure, cause I feel like we keep it like, don't.
That money within that budget, and we're. We'll start with introductions and, Lisa? Introduction.